What is going on, everyone? Parsnip here, and today we're back with episode 9 of our Let's Build playthrough. So in this episode, we're gonna go ahead and, as always, start completing everything that we need to. I do plan to go ahead and start finishing up as much as I can, as like I said on the last episode, I do want to go ahead and start finishing things up so that in a couple of more episodes we go ahead and finish the main base. Now the reason that I do want to start going ahead and finishing it is because if I just continue, this would just be endless. I pretty much don't have things left to put in the base as of right now. I am going to go ahead and put my favorite weapons and armors and things like that throughout the entire house, as well as add a couple more rooms like right here that I'm making the... completely forgot what these are called, but the butterflies, the creatures, with the terrariums and stuff like that. So that's gonna be the room for all of that, and that pretty much leaves us with well, not much left actually. I'm gonna go ahead and also put some statues around the place, but that's pretty much it as far as the main rooms that I want to have things inside. The rest is just gonna be the finishing touches, as well as completing the bottom cave, which is the crystal cave that we were working on last episode as well. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying this playthrough as much as I have. Now let's go ahead and start. Right next to the banner room, we're gonna go ahead and start creating an edge, which is gonna be a tower, pretty much a roof. That way it starts looking more complete and we just don't keep building towards the side or upwards. So I go ahead and decide to make this roof with some copper and stone bricks, like I always do, pretty much the same mode. And I do decide that it needs to connect to the other side as well, towards the left. So I decide to make like a little gate slash bridge, if you could call it that. I go ahead and mess around here a lot with stuff that I may or may not like until I find something that I do indeed end up liking. Next up, I go ahead and add another tower because, as always, on these really weird fantasy castles, you do want to have as many towers as you possibly can. Now, I didn't talk much about the previous room while I was doing the intro, but that room is pretty much straightforward. It connects from the music box room in the bottom upwards so that I start again completing. Now, on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and make pretty much like a huge beam to support, well, I'll keep it a surprise for now, but support something in a little bit. Next up, I decide to go ahead and make a really big roof similar to the one that I did on the beginning towards the left side, again to close off this part of the build a little bit more. I also add a tower. Again, I just want to keep completing towards the right as much as I can. This base will probably only have 1 or 2 more rooms, and then probably on the last couple episodes we're going to go ahead and just finish decorating everything and adding some finishing touches so that the base looks complete. Now I do plan to add another teleporter because I think the original one I put is too far, and for practical purposes I do want to have that near the center of the house or in the crafting area, something along those lines. So this is what I was talking about, the beams that I was making that's going to support something that you'll see in a bit. Now this beam pretty much serves as a very solid structure. That was the main purpose of this thing, as well as something that doesn't look too bad because I didn't want it to be a square. That's why you can see me here making details, and this is going to change a little bit as, again, I do add more and more detail. I make it look a little bit more sturdier. If I'm not mistaken, I go ahead and add some backgrounds and things like that. Now what I am going to go ahead and make that you might not see the full structure on this episode, but I will go ahead and make some sort of flying ship. Now the reason that I'm making this flying ship is because this base, I just have no idea what it is. If it's steampunk, if it's retro, if it's medieval, fantasy, it's a mix of everything pretty much. And I put a balloon style ship in the next episode. You guys will pretty much see it. Not sure if it's going to be completed in the next episode, but a good portion of it will be done. So like I said before, I go ahead and add this. Now here you can see the structure that I go ahead and make for the main, for the boat pretty much, the flying boat. Now this is the bottom section of the boat, as you guys can imagine. This section is going to be where it's going to have all the rooms and all the things like that. Now I do go ahead and just make a little bit of structure. This will be changed later on, more details will be added. I just want there to be a structure so I have an idea of what it will look like. So followed up, I go and continue closing off the area. I noticed that this spot looked a bit weird, so I go ahead and continue that column room that, well, I made on the last episode pretty much to fill up space. And like I did on the left on that little roof that I made, I go ahead and add some sort of balcony or protection so that people don't fall off the roof. So here I go back down and start preparing to add stuff towards the rooms. If you remember, I did make a couple of rooms down below and I left them empty. Here I'm going to go ahead and continue my furniture collection by adding all these different types of furniture throughout the NPC's room. So far we pretty much have living wood, flesh, sky blocks, spooky, bone, cactus, jelly, honey, and gold. Now I will be adding living and glass and as much as I can until I'm satisfied with the amount of NPC rooms that there will be here. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be 6 more rooms, and that'll be for now the amount that I want for NPCs. Maybe I'll go ahead and add 9 just to be safe, but I think that's a very good amount as of now. So next up, I go ahead and just start adding a little bit of details towards the corridors that's next to the NPC rooms. Again, I am adding pianos and lamps towards that section, and that's pretty much what we have done so far on the NPC room. As always, it's just going to continue being that, but with different types of furniture. Next up, I go back to the first room that we were working on and I add some more details, some more terrariums. I go ahead and add the golden bunny, the scorpion, the penguin, and I spiff up the rooms pretty much. Now I'm going to do the same for the other side. I'm going to have 3 different terrariums, which is going to be the bird, the golden mice, and a jellyfish that you guys will see in a bit. Now I do mess around here a bit until I find a reasonable thing that I end up liking, which is pretty much how it is now. Now I did add a lot of lights so that of course the collection is clearly visible throughout the build. Again, whenever we go ahead and add furnitures to everything, we're going to go ahead and have to add a lot more details. Now like I did mention before, I am going to be adding my favorite sets of armor, weapons, and accessories throughout the house of rooms that are already made. Now these are pretty much going to be in sections that are empty because I figured that would serve a great purpose. So pretty much the 3 towers that we have right now are going to serve as a means to hold weapons and accessories. Now I go back to the ship here and start adding a little bit of details and continuing on with the structure. So normally most ships have like this cool cabin towards the side, and that's something that I really wanted to have here. That the cabin goes a little bit up, and at the top is going to be where the main steering wheel is. Now at the bottom, again, like most ship, I want to have the bunk beds pretty much. Well, not bunk beds, but beds, a place for the sailors and whoever's on the ship to go ahead and rest, sleep. I noticed that a lot of people that make buildings and ships or even spaceships and things like that completely forget about the rooms. And though they do focus on things like NPC rooms, I never really see people make a room with more than 2 beds on it, so that, well, though NPCs won't actually move in here, it serves a purpose, as on real life a ship would be like this. Clearly it's 2D, and on a real ship it would have a lot more beds, but I really did end up liking the way this looked. Now the ship is going to be made out of 3 materials, which I really do end up liking, especially the dynasty wood that doesn't join in too well with the other materials, which is wood and rich mahogany. Now these 3 are going to be the main materials that I'm going to use on the ship. This way it looks different from the castle, yet at the same time it still fits the theme, because instead of copper, for example, we use dynasty wood, and pretty much so on. Now I will be adding the sails and finishing the sails on the next episode that you guys won't see here, but I did start on it and I noticed that I was on 3 hours and something on this episode, so I decided to cut it in like 2.5 hours. That way I could go ahead and make the rest of the ship on the next episode, as well as add a couple more things towards the main base. So guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. As always, I would like to thank you all for watching. If you do enjoy the video and if you have any suggestions, make sure to write it in the comment section below. I really do really appreciate it when you guys leave awesome feedback. I'll go ahead and start featuring more feedbacks like I did in the previous on the beginning episodes, maybe next episode or something along those lines. So as always guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.